Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to give a friendly reminder that we will be starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. All right, looks like we're going to get started now. Thank you everyone for joining again. Good morning. I would like to thank everyone for joining this Teams training. My name is John, and I'm from the Microsoft Store in Pentagon City, Virginia, and I'm going to be going over Microsoft Teams Essentials and a basic rundown on how to use Teams. I'm also joined by Blair and Shane, who will be monitoring the Q&A panel for any questions that you guys may have throughout this session. But to start off with, what is Microsoft Teams? It is a Microsoft application that is designed for communications and collaboration to streamline day-to-day chatter, as well as provide a place for easy, consistent collaboration. The nice thing about it is that it integrates Office 365 productivity tools to save you the need to constantly switch between programs and keep you productive as well. And another great thing about Teams is not only its cross-platform capabilities, but as well as how it is able to impact your organization. The 3 C's that we're going to be focusing on today are communication, collaboration, and customization. To start off with, in regards to communication, we're going to see how we're able to utilize this application to go on our days with chat, meetings, and calls, as well as collaborate with each other using Office 365 applications. And we're going to showcase how co-authoring is done within this app. But as well as customize our workplace, switch on around applications, customize our notifications, and make our Teams application our very own. And to get back to the cross-platform experience, we have Microsoft Teams available for multiple types of devices, from desktop to mobile to web. On the desktop client, we have support for Microsoft not Microsoft, Windows, as well as Mac OS. On mobile, we have support for iPad, as well as Android and iPhone. And then also we have a web client available. Now, just give me one moment. I'm going to switch from our presentation to our demo tenant. And perfect. Right now I'm using the web version of Teams. But what's nice is that it looks very similar to as if you were using the desktop version. It's very nice to have consistency when it comes to applications or features that we're able to use from web to mobile to desktop. We have a way to access our work resources, as well as get in contact with anyone within our organization very quickly. But the first tab that we're going to be focusing on is the chat tab that we are in already. As you can see right now, I only have 2 conversations that are pinned that I have favorited. But if I hit this caret here that has the name recent, it'll bring down all conversations that I've recently been a part of. This tab is where all one-on-one as well as group messaging will be located. As you can see, I have conversations that I'm normally a part of and I'm normally involved in. I have them pinned here at the top just for quicker access. You can do that for any of the other app or chats that are here below, just by right-clicking in order to bring up a drop-down menu. But as you can see, if I hit either the 3 dots on the right-hand side or right-click on the chat, it'll give me more options on how I can manipulate this chat. I could mark it as unread, as well as pin the conversation like I did previously up on the top here, as well as mute conversations to deny any notifications from coming through to my device, as well as hide chats. This hide feature is, in a sense, the delete, but I'm going to use the word delete very lightly, mainly because it does not delete the conversation from the history of the client. All it does is it hides it away, it puts it away so that it is not visible in your list of chats. If somebody in that chat or anyone in the group chat that you are a part of either shares a file, sends a message, basically interacts with the chat that you've hid, it will pop up here again. But if you have it muted, it won't ping off any notifications. However, it will still display that chat here under recents. If we can see on the top side here of the left panel, we have recent conversations as well as a quicker way to access our contacts. Not only that, but if we go back to recents and click on this funnel, we'll be able to filter our conversations from unread messages to meeting chats that I will get into in a bit of more detail shortly, as well as the ability to filter through muted conversations. But very straightforward to just what chat is here. When we go over to the right-hand side on the top, we can see something that will be very similar when you navigate through Teams, which is the area here that has all of the tabs located. To start off with, right now I am in the chat tab where all of my conversations will occur. As you can see, if I go to a conversation with Shane and I'm in this chat tab, as you can see, we've spoken before, and we have mentions here. We also have signs where we can see that people have seen our messages, as well as timestamps of people leaving chats, as well as timestamps of people adding others into the chat as well. If we go over to the next tab, which is the Files tab, this is going to be dedicated to storing every single file that you've shared with that person in the specific group chat or one-on-one chat. All of those files will be stored here in a much more organized fashion. I will go ahead and show you an example of that. If I go to Files, let's go over, I believe, who did I have this with? Files. As you can see right here, it shows me the type of file, name, when it was shared on, as well as who it was sent by. If I right click or hit the ellipse here, it will give me the ability to either open within the Teams application or open the file type in other applications if I would like to. Or I could download as well as get the link of the application. When I have a file selected, it will give me the same options here as well. And I can also cancel those options. But let's just stick to Shane. For now, what I'm going to do also is pin him, just so that I could have his conversation here much more faster. So go in here. As you can see, previously we've added more tabs, and the way we were able to add tabs is by hitting this plus icon. And from here is where we're also able to have applications that are preferred by us. To have this quicker access, we can use any of our favorite applications and have them placed at the top. For instance, if I wanted to instead of having to go to the Files tab and opening a file, what I could do instead is I could pin this document as a tab if I would like to. And once it does that, instead of me having to go to the Files tab, opening the file itself, or opening it wherever I would like to, instead I could just pin it as a tab, and from there I could quickly click on this Word document since I haven't renamed it to anything else, and from there I could edit any document within Office. I could pin it as a tab here and edit as if I was using any other application or any other Word application. And that is the same, I would say that's the same procedure that you would follow when it comes to adding any other sort of app or PDF file or website. If you did want to do a website as well, the way that you would do that is, in this case, you would give it a name, call this Microsoft Store, and in this case, you would have to fully type out the email or the URL address, https:// and it will give you a warning if the email was or the URL was typed incorrectly. In this case, it gives me a check indicating that it is a valid URL. And then from there, when I hit save, it will create a tab as the name that you picked. But in this case, right now, it's saying that Microsoft refused to connect, but it will connect. If not to worry. What we can do is we can go to the site from our web browser. But mainly due to the high uptake and just usage of Microsoft Teams, there are some features that are currently switched off in regards to prioritization. But you do have the ability to do that as well. When we go to the right-hand side of this top panel, we can see that the person that we've selected, we can either video call them instantly or audio call them instantly if I would like to. This case, if I hit audio call, right now I've denied permissions on the web browser to enable my camera and mic, but in this case I will continue without that just to show this as an example. It will give me a bit of an icon that is pulsating, indicating that I'm trying to reach Shane. As you can see here on the bottom, it gives me options to turn on or off my camera as well as my microphone. The option next to that, as you can see, Shane answered and Shane muted himself. If I hover over his name, it'll give me a little card of his profile, as you can see here. And another thing I can do is message him from there as well if I would like to. Or another thing I can do is show the conversation of him and myself, and it will give us the chat that we've been using previously. But next to that icon, I will be able to share my screen. What's nice about Microsoft Teams is when you select this option and you have multiple windows open at the same time, you could either share your entire computer itself, or you can share pre-selected windows or applications. And if you alt tab out of them, or if you navigate to another program or window, it will still only show that one window that you selected to share, which is very nice. Another thing, another sign that you could tell that it is only that screen that is being shared is when you share a screen, it will display a red border around the window as an indication that you are sharing your screen. If we hit the more actions here, the ellipses here, it will give us a drop-down menu of other options that we are able to do. However, depending if you are a user or admin, or depending if how your admin has set up your environment, these options here may look a bit different. And I say that mainly because this option here where it says recording, this option may or may not be on as well. But what this option allows you to do is record your meetings. It will also notify any participants in the meeting that there is a recording happening. So there's a bit of transparency in that as well. Another thing you are able to do as well is show the device settings. So if you did have any preferred mics or speakers that you would like to use, or even cameras, this is where you would select to have those options. You could also enter full screen, as well as place the call on hold or transfer this call, as well as consult and transfer, and then turn off any incoming video. Next to the three dots, we have, like I've shown before, the conversation tab, and then also the show participants tab, where it will show me everyone who is currently in the call, as well as the option to mute people that are in the call, and also invite anyone else that I would like to have in this call. And then we're just going to hang up here. And after any calls that you have, there will be a bit of a feedback prompt. If you would like to leave any feedback on how your call was, by all means, Microsoft does take feedback very seriously. And we always want to make sure that the quality that you have using our applications is always the gold standard. Let's go ahead and dismiss this. Now, since we've just went over this part, if we look in the bottom here, we have the text box on where we're able to type our messages, but as well as the options that are below that, where we have the means of formatting those messages as well. Here you have your tools of formatting messages if you would like to implement any sort of formality. Another thing you can also do is you can even insert code snippets, as well as more formatting options, or delete the formatting message. Another thing you're able to do is list the message as important, and I will go ahead and show what that looks like. This message, Shane, is important. When I type that message and I hit the exclamation point, it's going to give me an option if I would like to set it as an important message, or if I would like to set it as an urgent message. Be cautious of this. As you can see, recipients will be notified every 2 minutes for 20 minutes, and they will also be emailed as well if they haven't responded to the urgent message. But in this case, we're going to list it as important, and as soon as I select that, it will create a bit of a red edge on the left-hand side and label that it is important. When I hit the send, from there, as you can see, it will follow that same principle of giving you a red border, as well as giving an exclamation point indicating that the message is important. And as you can see, Shane just saw the message. Another thing you're able to do, as you can see, are reacting to messages. When you hover over any messages, it will give you emoticons to select if you hit the 3 dots to interact with the message a little bit more as well. And these are the options that you are allowed to do with messages. And then moving on to the next option, when you look at this paperclip, this will allow you to attach any files from your cloud storage or from your local computer. When we move over as well, we have fun stuff, where in this case we have emojis. If you like to insert any emojis or search any emojis, by all means, go for it. And then we also have another way of scheduling meetings, where we have a calendar icon here with a plus. When I select this icon, it will prompt me a window of how I would like to set up my meeting. Right now, because it's only a chat with me and Shane, it only has Shane as required attendee. However, I could add more people from here as well if I would like to, just like how you are used to seeing in Outlook. I can also list any optional contacts here below, very familiar with listing when and where you would like to make your meeting. Another thing you can also do is select if you would rather have this meeting to a channel. However, when you do list this meeting under a channel, it would notify everyone that a meeting has been scheduled for the designated channel. And then from here, you are able to add locations if you would like to, as well as a description of the meeting. A fun thing also in Teams is the scheduling assistant. If we look at the top side or the top corner here, we have scheduling assistant that's located next to details. When we select this option, it will give us a bit of a glimpse on what our schedule or what everyone's schedule that I've added, what it looks like. As you can see for Shane and Marvin, I have